From Chris Brown still being popular after assaulting Rihanna, to DaBaby boasting about his success despite being called out for homophobia, here are the rappers who defied cancel culture. Now let's face it, out of all the rappers who have been called out in the past, Chris Brown has the worst accusations piled up, yet his songs remain a hit to this day. Back in 2009, he got sentenced to probation for assaulting his then-girlfriend Rihanna. And that was just the tip of the iceberg. He's been involved in all kinds of scandals over the years. From violence to misogyny and alleged sexual misconduct, he's been blamed for more things than y'all can count. But guess what? Despite the public backlash, Chris is still standing strong and hitting the stage. His UK leg of the Under the Influence Arena Tour kicked off on March 9th, 2023, and it was his first time performing in Britain since 2010, when they denied him entry because of his criminal record. And let me tell you, tickets for this tour sold out within minutes. The demand for Chris Brown is insane, and the Evening Standard called him cancel culture's greatest fail to date. But how does he survive all that hate? First off, he was marketed as the ultimate triple threat in the early 2000s because he was brilliant at singing, dancing, and acting, an all-in-one package. Plus, there's this whole nostalgic craze for the 2000s going on, so people are all hyped up for that genre revival, and Chris Brown is right in the middle of it. In terms of collabs, he's still killing it. Just look at the massive success of No Guidance in 2020, his team up with Drake, which topped the US Billboard charts for 23 whole weeks. Sure, the whole Rihanna incident was bad, and it was all over the news back then, but it happened before the era of social media callouts, so for the newer fans, it's a thing of the past, and they don't find it hard to overlook it. After the Me Too movement shed light on Brown's treatment of women, it made being a fan very uncomfortable for some fans, but others found ways to justify or downplay his behavior. But he's not the only one with the crazy loyal fan base, because no matter how many times Kanye West gets canceled, he bounces right back, like nothing ever happened. Remember in 2009 when Ye stole the spotlight from Taylor Swift at the VMAs? Yeah, he straight up crashed the stage, snatched the microphone from Taylor, and started singing praises of Beyoncé's music video, demeaning the artist who'd gotten the award. Taylor was just 19 years old at the time, and her fans were not happy about the incident, but Kanye didn't let the backlash stop him. And in 2010, he dropped Runaway, which mocked the whole controversy. He even performed it at the 2010 VMAs with no shame or remorse. And guess what? People ate it right up. Then came his infamous song Famous. The guy was making big bucks off his cancellation and he couldn't resist fueling the fire. The lyrics talked about the possibility of Taylor getting intimate with him because he made her famous. And while the outrage at this was real, the song was listened to by the entire world. Fast forward to years later, when Ye showed up at Paris Fashion Week wearing a t-shirt that said, "White Lives Matter," people wanted him to be canceled once and for all. But despite being hated all over the world, Kanye was swimming in the dough. In March 2021, he had a net worth of a whopping $6.6 billion, all of which came from his Yeezy sneaker sales and his collaboration with Gap. After his anti-Semitic remarks, Adidas ended its partnership with it, but because there were so many leftovers, they had to re-release some of the kicks from their storage, and they've been selling like crazy. Over 7 million pairs have been snatched up, bringing in a cool $170 million for Adidas, and Kanye's still got a 15% royalty, which means that he gets over $25 million out of it. Love him or hate him, you knows how to turn controversy into cash. But there's one rapper who Gen Z tried to cancel out of nowhere. Eminem got backlash for his problematic lyrics. But guess what? It didn't affect him at all. The legendary rapper's been selling millions of albums for decades. But Gen Z tried to cancel him for being a misogynist, homophobe, and an abuse apologist. It all started when a TikTok user posted a clip of Eminem's 2010 hit, "Love the Way You Lie," and got millions of views. She highlighted the lyrics where he says that if she ever tries to leave again, he would tie her to the bed and set the house on fire. She wanted everyone to cancel him because the lyrics were very toxic, but here's the twist. People's reactions to this TikTok were all over the place as Gen Z jumped on the bandwagon, showing their support for canceling Eminem. The hashtag #CancelEminem2021 racked up 8.6 million views on TikTok, but the millennials defended him more than ever. On one side, you have Lil Nas X, who parodied the TikTok video, and on the other side was Slipknot's frontman Corey Taylor, who compared the whole thing to the Salem witch trials. The diehard fans made their case, saying that he's too famous to be canceled and that he brought a whole revolution to hip-hop. They claimed that nobody understands his lyrics, but how a bunch of people on TikTok could do nothing to dismantle the throne, on which Eminem has been sitting for ages. Eminem's controversy is more recent news, but in R. Kelly's case, his entire career's been a roller coaster ride. For 2 decades, this guy's been surrounded by accusations of abusing underage girls and young women, but none of it stopped his music career. He'd settled lawsuits accusing him of sleeping with underage girls, and he even married Aaliyah when she was just 15, using fake documents in the process. And remember that scandal involving the assault of children in 2002? Yeah, he was arrested for that too. But despite all the controversies, R. Kelly kept churning out hit after hit. The dude released a whopping 12 platinum albums with tracks like I Believe I Can Fly in 1996 and Ignition in 2002. He even teamed up with Jay-Z on 2 albums, collaborated with Lady Gaga, and got featured on Chance the Rapper's song. I mean, this guy was everywhere, and even when he was arrested in 2008, nothing could touch his career. In 2019, his record label dropped him after Surviving R. Kelly got aired, which had first-hand accounts from women who claimed he abused them. His tour dates got canceled, and the dude ended up in custody. Even though you rarely hear his music on the radio or in public, he still racks up millions of monthly listeners on Spotify, and if that doesn't show you his success, what will? But while R. Kelly couldn't say much to defend himself, Kendrick Lamar pulled the UNO reverse card, calling cancel culture out for being unfair. The Grammy Award-winning rapper stepped into the film producer game with a comedy flick for Paramount, but get this, it was about a slave intern, and as he teamed up with his longtime collaborator Dave Free, his untitled project came to life. The film explored the clash of past and present when a young black man who's interning as a slave reenactor at a living history museum discovers that his white girlfriend's ancestors were once slave owners. Twitter went off on this news, and critics were quick to slam the movie, with people questioning why this was necessary. People tried canceling the guy, but their efforts were useless. His album, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, dropped only a few months after his movie scandal, and to no one's surprise, critics were all over that album. They couldn't get enough of his lyrical genius, and the album had some killer singles like N95, which hit the top 5 on the Billboard Hot 100. Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200, making it Kendrick's 4th chart-topping album in the US. It even scooped up the Best Rap Album award at the Grammys and received 8 nominations, including a 4th nomination for Album of the Year. But aside from Kendrick Lamar, there's another rapper who survived being canceled for homophobia, and it's none other than DaBaby. The North Carolina rapper knows that he came out on top as he spilled the tea during an epic conversation on the Bootleg Kev podcast. The host, Kev, declared that DaBaby's defeated cancel culture, and the guy totally agreed. He acknowledged that despite all the controversy, he's still thriving and climbing those charts. His single Shake Some made a banging comeback on the Billboard Hot 100 as it reached its peak at number 69, and it's been holding its ground as one of the hottest songs in the country for weeks. This is a big deal because his last entry was back in 2022 with Neighborhood Superstar, and even that song only spent 1 week on the chart, barely reaching number 89. So there you have it. From DaBaby boasting about his success despite being called out for homophobia, to Chris Brown still being popular after assaulting Rihanna, these were the rappers who defied cancel culture.